Good evening. Well, we got another project. Well, actually, we got the same project. We got this chassis, which everyone's seen before, and the body showed up for it today. So we got a 3031 Model A body going on that one, and this body showed up today, and we're going to eventually here be giving it a bit of a haircut. We're just kind of deciding. We're thinking here about 5 inches. That's just rough tape marks. We'll go through on chopping this thing up, on how we're going to do it, and some tips, tricks, you know, all that good stuff. That needs to come off there before I smash my shin, because that's got a freaking, actually for me, I'm 5 foot nothing, so that right there would be a, let's just sort of measure that up. Yep, that's about a knee buster. So, you know I won't end up taking it off and I'll end up smashing my knee, and then when that happens, then I'm an idiot. So, this body's actually in really good shape. This thing sat inside somewhere for a long time because it actually still has some of the wood and everything in it there, the old back seat and everything. So, we'll be cutting a bunch of this out to get it to fit over the chassis there, the kick up and everything in it. So, that's what we'll start with. Sort of from a bit of experience here. Everyone wants to chop these things first for some unknown reason, and then wants to work on the inside and put the floor in it and all that stuff. Well, in the end, it sucks because you're bent over the whole time. So we'll end up chopping the floor out of this thing first, some of your structure and all that, to get the slide down over top of this chassis here. It's all kicked up, and get that going, and we'll be chop, like we will chop it, but it'll be after a bit here. That's what I find. Don't chop these. We're gonna put some of the structure back in. You can see I got these roof pieces all laid out already. We're gonna put those on. They're sort of sitting here. Get that back in to help the structure out in here. So when you do start chopping this up and you start moving it around, it isn't gonna want to move in this area and start causing your door openings to all go funny on you. So actually I'll probably end up putting the doors on it, make sure everything lines up, and then even might even weld the brace in here so I get the floor all mounted in, because we're cutting a bunch of we're going to be cutting structure out of this thing, and it sucks when I have to cut it out if the doors don't close properly. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So we get to carry on in this project. That project there, actually got tires put on it today. Nothing special, just some rollers and that on that one there. And actually, you know, the chassis is back there by the Chevy too. It left today, and that actually headed over to Saskatchewan. So yeah, so that's sort of what we're going to work on now. We're going to work on getting this structure cut out so we can get this chassis up underneath this thing and do some cool shit. Around some measurements here right now. I've measured from back here where your axle center is. So I do everything from back here where your axle center brings everything ahead. So right over here's where your firewall is going to sit. So once you figure out that, here you can measure. Like I said, I'm just roughly doing some measurements here. So it's about 28 inches right there from outside to outside of that frame rail. And I'll probably go 29, so I got half an inch on each side to move it around a bit. So what we do from there is then we'll come over here and we'll measure our opening that we have. Measure this opening right here. On it. So down here we're about 26. Outside here 29. So you're gonna end up pretty close right there on the outsides. So once I start doing the measurements, I'll clean everything up, and I'll clean everything up, and I'll make nice straight lines and that. And then once you figure out where your firewall is, here your measurement at your firewall, right there. So now this here will be your next measurement that you want, where your kick is. So you can just come back here 6 inches, and then measure that, and then figure where your kick's gonna be. This is all loose on both outer fenders here. It's rotted out there. We still have right in here right in there. We still got a couple screws. There's still actually some metal left in there. So I'll try a screwdriver to see if those will come out. Chances are they're not going to. So if they don't, these screws, what's nice about these is they're Robinson screws. So they, so you can get a drill bit in there. It's already got your centered. So if you have to, you can drill those out if you really want to. And instead of, like I said, instead of butchering everything up. And that here, over on this side, nature took care of it, and there ain't nothing left there. And nature pretty much took care of all that as well. So it's just a matter, we got a few screws left. But this car actually, you know, surprisingly, the wood is still pretty good in this thing. So we'll get those out and then get this here all popped out, and then this is opened up. I'll leave this one cross member. I'll leave this cross member here in till we do all the work back in here. I would usually, but someone got to this before I got to it. This cross member here, that goes in here, and the one in here, I usually would have left in. I wouldn't have cut them out, but this one here, I think nature took care of a lot of it as well by the looks of it. And this one here, I'm not really involved. Nature took care of the one side, so it's yeah, they're not there now. And so leave those in as long as you can and build all your structure up. Don't like I said before, don't start getting in here and start cutting the hell out everything, and you know, and then when you go to put the doors on, wonder why the doors won't hold, won't stay open, or the body lines and all that have all gone funny. So like I said, leave as much in these as you can, you know, cut slow, and we'll get this out, and we'll keep moving forward. So we got this, this piece here is all rotten like I showed you earlier. What I'm gonna do is I got some 2x1 8th wall tubing here. Right there is what we're gonna put in there. The biggest thing, we're building the structure back up in here, because a lot of this is gonna get cut out anyways. This inner structure right in here is all gonna get cut out. So what we're gonna end up doing here, move this here just a little bit, there we go, is we're gonna take a rotted piece out of here. But what I want to do right in here has a nice body mold here, like a nice little mold mark here where it came in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that so that looks original, and then in here is all nice. What ends up happening is your floor, actually with those rails the way they are, your floor pretty much is going to come right to there. So your floor is going to be in the original spot pretty much. So that's what's nice about flipping those rails sideways. So the other thing I'll do is I'll end up cutting right in here. So this all keeps the original look here. With cutting it right in here, pretty much where it goes straight, we'll keep the original look here. Because what will happen, the floor will all come up into here. So you don't need to worry about this all right now. Then eventually, underneath here, it'll be capped, is what we'll do under here, so you won't see any of this, and cap it up to here. This makes your in your door opening here, it makes it stronger. So you don't have to worry about this moving all over the place once you do it. Out of the factory, there's a cross member that goes here, and there's a cross member that goes right there. And when these cars are original, sort of hold all this. What I'll end up doing is I'll put a cross member here at the door frame there. Then this will all be strong here than what it was. And then I'll end up putting another cross member back here, which will end up just going to your tunnel. That way your door frame's all tied in, and you don't have to worry about this opening moving and everything, and it holds the door from moving all over the place, because there's really not much structure in these cars. And so that's what I'll do. So I'll measure all this out, straight line it, and end up cutting all this out of here. I'm going to try to keep some of this, but I may just end up cutting it along here. I gotta see how this works out, and then just put the piece in here. So let's get to doing some cutting and some measuring, all the fun stuff. so that's all tacked in there and all fit up pretty nice. There, like I said, it's got all the factory stuff still all there. I don't even know in the end whether you're going to see any of that. So now we've got to start going at this back section here on how to fix that. And what I'm thinking is I take this piece here, go like this, and cut around the edge and take it all the way to the back. When I measured this up, because your chassis, so to channel this, your chassis is going to be sitting, it's 2 inches is what your chassis sits. So when you measure from here, because this here's your bottom of your frame rail right here, it's going to come to the bottom of your sill. So when you measure this up, your 2 inches is coming right about to here. This is where your 2 inches is going to be. So with your 2 inches being here, you're going to end up putting your sheet metal right on here, is what you're going to end up doing. It's going to sit right flush. But it's also figuring out where you're going to, you got to put your cross members and all that, and which way you're going to go. So I don't know if I'll finish welding along this edge yet, or if I'll wait until I bring the piece over on top here, and then I'll weld everything all nice along here, so it'll look like it all has a really nice factory roll and the way, you know, it came out of the factory. And then I'll bring this up and figure it up to here like this, and then over, and then the floor will come here as well. The other thing that'll be happening is here, there'll be a piece broke to come around to the bottom here, and then up into here. So that's going to strengthen up this sill, all like your rocker in here and everything. So this here will all be solid. But there's still going to be, some of this is still going to be getting cut out in here for your chassis and everything. So that's sort of, once I get this other side done here, that's what I'll go at next, is get that. And now we're working on this this back frame here, where it's all model-A's do this. They break right in here is where your body mount is, right there. So that's where they that's where the majority of them. I don't think I've had one yet that hasn't been broken in this area. This one's actually not that bad of shape. The other side's in better shape. Yeah, usually this is common in these things. So what I'm gonna do is take some 2x1 8 wall and make a new piece for right here. That's what I'm gonna do. I've roughly laid it out already, so I'm gonna bring it into here, the piece we've already made, bring it in there, got that so we can weld it nice in there, a nice butt weld in there. Come along here, notch this out. This here eventually is gonna get cut up to about there for your rear diff to come up into. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do all the strength and everything in here first, because I'd rather cut this out. You know, we're probably gonna come out here about 4 inches in there. I'd rather cut that out later. I'd rather get everything all mounted up, get this all solid before you start cutting everything out, because the more you cut out, the more chances you have of things going sideways in this area and things moving. So that's what I'm doing right now. I gotta notch this, then we're gonna cut this to here, which will bring this down, and then I will end up cutting in here somewhere, and then bring this all in. And then what we can do eventually here is clean this up and pull this out or whatever. It's just a matter of getting the structure right now, because eventually what's going to happen is your floor, you're going to take a piece and you're going to break it to come underneath here over to your quarters and all that back in here. But it's just getting the strength, get the center strength together and holding it all together. So I'm not worried about making all this and everything and making it look all original, because the majority of this is coming out when you start making the floor, because this floor is all gonna come up because you got your kick in here. So this is gonna end up coming up into here, and that with your kick and everything in here. So right now it's just a matter of making the structure and going from there is what we're gonna do. But I don't want to cut this all right out because it's still got a little bit of strength, so things won't move around. Eventually that will end up coming right out of here, and it'll just be this piece here. So let's get to doing some measuring, some cutting, and having a good time here. so we got everything cut out here. I'm gonna open that there up a little bit more so this here matches up to that. I just didn't want to cut all the strength out of there right now. I'll grind this. So I'll be able to weld that there a little bit. Like I said, this is all gonna end up getting cut out in this area later on. But for right now, let's strengthen everything up here. Then this will all sink down in here. I've left this cross member here because I don't want to take this out yet until I put something across here. And I'll probably end up putting something across this area up in here. Is probably where I'm going to put something, because like I said, the frame's coming up in here, so I don't want to cause myself grief. So I'll figure out roughly where, and then I'll just run a piece of bar across here for now until everything gets moved around. So I don't want to take this cross member out yet and let it do some funky stuff. So I'll probably end up putting one there and one there, and then I'll be able to take this one out, and that'll be when it starts getting set down onto the body. So for right now, I'm just doing this inner structure. So that's where we're at there. I still need a little bit more cleanup on this, and a little more fitting, and then be able to get this all in here. The other nice thing with leaving this in, it's going to hold this where I need it to stay. So it's let's do a little more cleanup, and we'll be able to get this thing welded in a bit. Like I said, everything's all welded in on this side. All the structure is back in it. So the subframe's good on this one. So on this side, still gonna do the other side, but making progress here. So we'll have this thing all tied in, and then we'll be able to start cutting the firewall and everything. So I hope this was helpful. You know, most Model A's, 32s, all that, the subframe's out of them. So on this one here, I'm not, you know, it's not that I'm making the subframe original and look stock, because I know once the floor goes in, it's gonna be, there's still more that's gonna have to be cut out of here. It's just a matter of strengthening this thing up for right now. You know, if I wanted to, yes, I could make this floor look stock, make the subframe look stock by doing sort of the same idea. It's just a matter of cutting certain areas and bringing it down, stuff like that. But for this one here, it doesn't need it, because it's gonna get slammed down in the frame. So it's just making everything strong, structurally strong. So when this thing goes on, we start melting the floor, getting the doors on, everything stays straight and it doesn't start folding up on you. But like I said earlier there in the comments, make a comment here. I got to chop this thing, and I haven't really decided. Neither one of us have really decided how much we want to chop this. We've been 5 inches, 6 inches, 4 inches, been all over the place. So you know, make a comment on what you think we should chop this thing up. And hey, if you have any ideas, any tips, tricks, anything, comment. And that's how we all learn. And you know, go on, like, subscribe, and keep doing these videos. And we're going to take this one here through as far as we can, and getting it mounted, getting it chopped, you know, putting motors and brakes, all that stuff on this one. So like I said, like, share, follow, subscribe, you know. I appreciate all yous, and let's get to building the cool ass Model A, and see you all again here shortly. Now have a good night, and get out there and build something cool.